The girl steps into a cave and to her horror, it's filled with human corpses. Their clothes have been stripped off, their bodies hung in midair. On the ground, more bodies still wait to be processed. These corpses are turned into food, sold to tourists passing through the area. At first, the locals had no idea. They only wondered why so many travelers vanished here. The story begins with an extreme climbing adventure. As they climb higher and higher, the summit is finally within reach. But a jutting overhang blocks Sarah's path. No matter how hard she tries, she fails again and again. At her husband's urging, they decide to head back down. But on the way, a blizzard strikes, triggering a massive avalanche. Her husband is knocked out cold by the falling snow. Sarah barely manages to hold on to him, but if she doesn't let go, her own safety harness won't hold either. And just like that, Sarah loses her husband. The very moment he falls, her harness gives way too. Had Sarah hesitated even one more second, she would have plunged off the cliff with him. Ever since her husband's death, Sarah has been traveling the world alone. This time, she's come to Wandara Park in Australia. Her first stop is the local police station. A ranger warns her that traveling alone here is dangerous. The photos on the wall? Every one of them is someone who went missing in this forest. But Sarah just glances at them. She's confident in her own skills. A small forest is no challenge for her. She heads to a convenience store to stock up, and runs into a group of rowdy men harassing her. Luckily, the shop owner steps in to help. Sarah grabs a pack of his homemade beef jerky on her way out. Outside, she asks the owner about camping routes. He asks if she wants something easy or challenging. Sarah says she wants a challenge, so he recommends a tougher trail. Before nightfall, Sarah arrives at the campsite. But the next moment, the same men who harassed her at the store pull up in their car. Clearly, they're planning to spend the night here too. Sarah locks her car doors, wanting nothing to do with them. She sleeps clutching her pepper spray, ready to react at a moment's notice. When she wakes up the next morning, the men are gone. Sarah pulls out her kayak and rides the rapids in pure exhilaration. It's the first time since her husband's death she's felt this kind of freedom. Extreme sports give her both passion and inner peace. When she sees the missing person tags hanging along the trail, she thinks of her husband, how she wishes he could still adventure with her. But that's no longer possible. Sarah hangs her clothes and bag on a tree, then climbs into her tent to sleep. At dawn, she hears something stirring outside. She steps out and her clothes and bag are gone. This place is deserted. No animal would steal a backpack. This had to be a person. Sarah paddles slowly down the river. She spots a kayak on the bank and goes ashore to investigate. It turns out to be the shop owner from yesterday. When he hears her bag was stolen, he warmly offers her water and food. He seems friendly enough, but once she's eaten and drunk her fill, he tosses her bag out of the cabin and steps outside holding a crossbow. That's when Sarah realizes this man is dangerous. The next moment, he opens her phone and plays a high-energy song. Then he tells her, "You can run all you want until this song ends." After that, the hunt begins. Realizing how serious this is, Sarah grabs her bag, finds her kayak, and rides the current, running for her life. But the more panicked you are, the more mistakes you make. Her kayak flips. She clings to her bag and drags herself ashore. She strips off her wet clothes and bolts into the forest. Not long after, she hears laughter. She thinks it's other tourists nearby, but as she gets closer, it's her own phone, playing a travel video. The instant she picks it up, an arrow comes flying at her. She doesn't dare stop. Sarah weaves through the forest, arrow after arrow whistling past. She isn't hit, but in her panic, she falls back into the river. The current carries her downstream. When she finally crawls ashore, her phone is broken. Any hope of calling for help is gone. She clips her pepper spray to the outside of her bag, ready to fight back at any moment. She gathers herself and pushes deeper into the canyon, searching for a way out of this killing ground. After hours of trekking, Sarah enters a narrow, steep crevice. Drawing on her climbing expertise, she scales the rocky wall and reaches the top. She pulls out her binoculars and spots a kayak floating on the water. For a moment, she sees a way out until her gaze shifts, and she sees the killer again. The hunt never stopped. Danger is always one step behind. Sarah doesn't linger. She climbs back down the crevice, finds a hidden hollow, and hides, holding her breath, completely silent. Somehow, she escaped Jake's search. Once he's gone, she slowly emerges from the cliff. She sees Jake playing in the lake. This is her chance. She decides to sneak toward the kayak and escape this wilderness. She creeps closer, and just as she reaches for the rope, a sharp pain shoots through her foot. She stepped right into a trap Jake set in advance. The steel jaws clamp down on her leg. Pain explodes through her body. Hearing her cry, Jake walks over slowly. He stands above her, watching her writhe. Coldly, he orders her to throw her pepper spray far away, stripping her of any chance to fight back. He pretends to release the trap, but keeps his crossbow trained on her, keeping her completely under control. Helpless, Sarah is bound hand and foot, a prisoner at his mercy. Night falls. The wilderness is eerily silent. Jake suddenly starts talking about strange tribal customs, how some primitive tribes file their teeth into points as a rite of passage into adulthood and the hunt. His words carry a chilling undertone, hinting at the twisted darkness inside him. The next day, he takes Sarah onto a boat. She has no idea where he's taking her, but she spots an iron hook by her foot. Just as she reaches for it as a weapon, Jake shoves her into the river. Then he paddles off, dragging her behind him. Sarah swallows mouthfuls of water in the rapids. By sheer luck, she avoids the rocks beneath, otherwise, she'd be dead, or close to it. Then he brings her to a cave, and what she sees inside makes her jaw drop in horror. Several naked bodies hang suspended in midair. Beside them, more corpses wait to be processed. And these men? They're the same ones who harassed her at the store. So this was Jake's all-natural homemade beef jerky made from human beings. Realizing the truth, Sarah tries to run, but she's tied with a rope. There's no escaping Jake's grip. She spots a photo of his mother on the wall. She tries to use it to awaken whatever conscience he might have left, but Jake just grins, bearing vampire-like fangs, and tells her his mother was his very first sacrifice. Seizing her chance as he leans closer, Sarah bites down hard on his ear. While he's screaming in pain, she summons every ounce of strength and breaks free of the ropes. Once she hits the ground, she knows this is her moment. She throws herself off the cliff into the river, trying to escape underwater, but Jake dives in right after her, tying her rope to his own waist. The two of them are swept down the rapids, hurtling toward a waterfall. Jake gets knocked unconscious. Sarah's still awake, but their rope is caught on a stump. If she doesn't act fast, they'll both drown. With every bit of strength left, she yanks the rope free. She bursts to the surface, scrambles to shore, and hauls Jake up too. Just as she grabs a rock to smash the steel cable, Jake comes to. Sarah lunges, trying to hold him underwater and drown him, but he's too strong. He breaks free instantly. She tries to strangle him with the rope, but he tears free again. The next moment, his powerful hands close around her throat, trying to choke the life out of her. And just as she's about to black out, Jake stares at her face and something flickers. She reminds him of his mother. He lets go, and Sarah lives. She turns, grabs a rock, and smashes it against his shin again and again, breaking his leg, but he kicks her hard before she can finish. Both of them, badly hurt, collapse on opposite sides, motionless. The next day, Sarah wakes up and proposes a deal. If they climb the cliff, they can both get out. Otherwise, his leg will get infected, and he won't last long. Jake reluctantly agrees, but they have to be tied together with a safety rope. The moment Sarah tries anything, he'll drag her down with him. So Sarah begins the climb, hauling the killer up behind her. The cliff looks steep and climbing it is no joke, but with her skill, she pushes higher and higher. When she's high up, she tries to undo the harness, but Jake catches her, and yanks her back down. He's sharp, the slightest move, and he's ready to die with her. But Sarah doesn't give up. When she reaches the next ledge, she ties the rope to a tree branch and quietly unclips her harness.
You promised me we'd die together!
Free of him at last, she releases Jake's rope. Sarah has finally killed the monster, but the real challenge is just beginning. The cliff in front of her has an overhang, just like the one on the snow mountain. Only now, her husband isn't with her. Neither is any safety gear. She nearly falls. By sheer luck, she catches a small ledge. Then, with incredible upper body strength, she pulls herself up, inch by inch, until she reaches the top. This is her ultimate physical victory and a leap forward in her soul's journey. Lying on the cliff's edge, she laughs out loud. The first thing she does is go to town and call the police, and the cops finally uncover the horrifying truth about this serial killer. That's where the movie ends. This 2026 thriller masterfully blends wilderness survival with twisted, predatory horror. It tears open the darkest depths of human evil hidden beneath a remote forest. Time and again, Sarah is pushed to the brink. The killer toys with his prey, treating brutal murder like a fun challenge. His mind is twisted, his heart cold. He even killed his own mother. But trapped in hell, Sarah refuses to give up. With years of extreme sports conditioning, her climbing skills, and pure survival instinct, she fights back, again and again, and finally claws her way out of the inferno. I'm Jack. See you next time.